Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of the Smashing Skull Sessions. This week I'm joined by Filipe van Huylenbroeck, who some of you may know from a band who've been around since 2014. It was a band called If Anything Happens to the Cat, a great post-rock band. A lot of you will be familiar, I think. And I also want to speak about his solo project that he's going at the moment, which is Gato De Fogo. Am I pronouncing that okay?
Yeah, sure.
You can pronounce it yourself, Felipe, there, which would make more sense. It's actually in Portuguese.
Yeah, it's Gato De Fogo.
There you go, guys. That's the one. So we'll talk about both. But first, I suppose, welcome, Felipe. Thanks for taking your time to come onto the show, you know.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
It's
really nice to be here.
The thing about the Smashing Skull Sessions, is it's not specific. It's rock, it's metal, it's anything to do with guitars, synths, you name it, you know. It covers all aspects of music. It's not, don't let the name deter you in any shape or form, you know. But for those who don't know anything about Filipe, he, as I said, he's been in a post-rock band called If Anything Happens to the Cat, who've been around since 2014. We'll get to that after, why he took a break or what happened there. But since then, he's released a solo album, which is entitled... Shit, where is it? Actually, you might as well give me the name of it.
Always April.
Always April, here we are. Yeah. Always April. Which is a fantastic album, lads. If you like your post-rock, you like just rich melodies with some synths and lo-fi beats, very chill, very relaxed music. It's definitely worth a listen. It's something different. It's something to chill out with. Bottle of beer. Filipe, am I right? Yeah. Headphones on, lights out. There you go. So, Filipe, look, we kick off. I suppose we cover sort of some of the If Anything Happens to the Cat material. Mm-hmm. I suppose... would you classify it as an indie post-rock band? Is that where you sort of categorize the band as?
That's how I would describe it, yeah.
Yeah, and
it's post-rock, but it has it always has like this indie poppy feeling going on.
Was that a decision you wanted to make? Is that the road you wanted to take with it?
I guess it wasn't really thought through in the beginning. It just happened, and then the thing is, we're 5 people, and we all have a very different musical background, and this is like the blend of all our influences.
Yeah.
Also, if you we actually talk about it quite often between us. If you look at the style of guitar playing we have, like it's really a blend as well. Like one of us was more formed as a metal player, while I actually learned how to play guitar by playing Bon Iver songs and stuff like that. So more the indie folky thing.
Which is great, isn't it? That creates something unique, doesn't it?
Exactly, and then all those influences come together, and
exactly
that is what comes out. But it's not something that is very decided before we start writing something how it will sound in the end. It's just we'll see what comes out, and if it's good, it's good. It doesn't really matter.
Before we even break that down, I mean, there's a lot of people who are asking, where did the name come from?
Oh yeah, so
there has to be a story behind this, Filipe. You know that name doesn't come out of the blue, like.
Yeah. So you said the band started in 2014, but it actually began in 2010. So we began to write songs in 2010, and we released a little EP in 2012. It were like demo recordings. We're not selling that anymore because it sounds like shit. But but so the first album came out in 2014, and before that we wrote a lot of songs, and we were rehearsing just the 3 guitars before we had a drummer and a bass player. We were rehearsing at my bandmate Wouter's student dorm. It was a very, very small room, and he had a little cat walking around there. And one day he left on a holiday, and he put up a sign in the student's house where he was living, because it was an international community of students. He put up a sign saying, "If anything happens to the cat," with his phone number on it. And and he left on a holiday, and then unfortunately the cat ran away while he was out on holiday, and we never found the cat back. But we saw the sticky note saying if anything happens to the cat, and I
So
remember the moment very well. We were eating pizza in his kitchen, and Peter, the other guitar player, said like, "That's it, that's our
the
name." Yeah, and we
And
were like,
obviously, something did happen to the cat that you
"Yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah,
You
yeah."
never know about. Like,
Unfortunately, but it was a very like aha moment. Like, yes,
yeah,
we had been looking for a name for months and like had some ideas, but it was always
and we always looking for something out there,
vetoed by
something different. Yeah, that
And
it's a
when
very
we saw no, it was immediately like, yes, that's a good name.
it's a
That's
very
what
post rock thing to do, isn't it? Really
yeah,
get
I
a name
guess.
that comes out of left field,
I guess
and
so. Yeah,
that absolutely does. Like that name does. So look,
we
I
do
know I
get a lot
mentioned.
of questions about it, and also like in the beginning when we first started the Facebook page and the social media. We used to receive like messages from old cat ladies, like or from these like cat profiles on Facebook saying like my mommy really likes your music, stuff like that.
A totally new fan base, so based
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
name of the band,
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy, isn't it? But
Super
look,
weird sometimes, but nice.
2014's album,
Yeah.
Sun Drunk Moon, which was the first album I picked up along to you, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually around the time I really got heavily into post rock, was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So that album got an unbelievable amount of airtime in my house.
Thanks.
Which and it still does, because it is still my favorite of all your work. How did you go about writing that album? I mean, picking those songs for the first full album.
Yeah. I guess you could say that Sunrise Moon is like a best of album of the songs we wrote in that first period of time writing songs together. So like I said, we started writing in 2010, and then like I had a couple of ideas, the other guys had a couple of ideas, and we put all of that together, and then we wrote like maybe 12 or 13 songs, and the songs that ended up on the album were the best of those. Some of them, like the song Jasmine and the song Eyes Closed Stay Quiet, were already on that first demo EP, so we re-recorded them in better quality. And then, I guess the concept of Sun Moon was something that happened, or well, not really the concept, but the album Sun Moon was something that happened very naturally. Like we just wrote these songs, and then we were like, okay, now we have enough, let's record this, let's put this together in an album. And of course you think about like dynamics in an album, so there's a concept in the album, but the songs were not written specifically to be together as an album or something. It was like more
well, like you said, you had 15 tracks to work with, did you? From that album,
something like that. Yeah.
It must be hard to sort of leave something out, because everything you do yourselves, you must be proud of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, some of these old songs, like there's one I remember. We just called it "New Song." It didn't even have had a title. We played it live a couple of times back then, and afterwards just decided like, it's just not good enough, and kind of forgot about it. Like I cannot even remember how the song goes. We probably have some old video or something. But
those tracks that you left out, Felipe, did they disappear, or did they come back in another shape or form?
Well, there's so there's 3 more tracks on that first demo EP that we didn't re-record for the album. There is one that we all think is very good. Like it doesn't sound good on that EP, but the concept of the track is good, and we tried to re-record it like several times in the past 10 years, and it never worked out. Like for some reason we cannot get it to the next level or something. It's a very nice track. I think you can probably find it on YouTube. There's some old YouTube channels that have it. It's called Saint Cecilia. And then
Saint Cecilia, is it?
Saint Cecilia. Yeah.
Saint Cecilia. I will check that out.
And then there's another very, very old track that I also really like, that we also tried to rewrite a couple of times. It's called "Not All Those Who Wander Are Lost." and same thing. Like we just, I don't know, we just couldn't get it to a point where we were like, okay, this fits in what we do now. This sounds good. So yeah, those songs kind of disappear. Sometimes they come back up, like in conversations, but I guess we moved on from those. I think you get more mature in how you write songs because you have more experience.
More experience, exactly. Yeah. And did you tour it or play it live around that time, around 2014, 15?
I cannot remember if we ever played that Not All Those Who Wander Are Lost song. But Saint Cecilia definitely we played it a lot, and we did record it for that demo EP, so it exists. But
and for me, I suppose I think Magenta was the album. I won't say the album that made you, because look, we know the genre that we're in and the fan base you have, but that did give you another little outlet, didn't it? I think it raised a few more eyebrows.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. Or.
Do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think the period like when we went to China, and that was actually in between. We actually had finished recording Mangata, but it wasn't released yet. But I guess Sundrunk Moon already existed, and then we were very active on social media and stuff like that, because we were recording, posting a lot of pictures, and that's like the momentum that happened right before Mangata. And I do think that we were a much better live band in that period of Mangata than before.
I pronounced that wrong as well, actually, just Felipe.
It's fine.
Terrible.
So I think it's actually Mungata in Swedish. It means like moon streets. It's like the reflect. There's no real translation. It's like the reflection of the moon on water, which it forms a line instead of a circle. Yeah,
very good. It's good to know.
It's an untranslatable Swedish word.
I know you're not half testing me with Portuguese and Swedish. Come on, and they're Belgian. Jesus.
I do like that kind of stuff. But so I guess Mangata was a very important
I think it was an important album for you as a band, exactly.
Yeah.
But
I also think
where it sits for you, like, I mean, is it as important as?
I think Sundrunk Moon is a more naive album, and I think you can hear that, and I think that's a really nice thing. I also like listening to it myself again now. There was a time that I did really like listening to these old recordings, but right now I can really appreciate it for what it is. Like we had all these songs and we put the album together, and it was so nice to release something. And Mangata, I think from my point of view as co-writer of these songs, I think we upped our game with the songwriting. Also conceptually, it's much more of an album. Like the lyrics of Mangata are all in the same theme, more or less. It's all about water and ships and the sea, and that's also why we chose the name Mangata, by the way, because you have Sundrunk Moon, so it goes from the sun to the moon, and then Mangata, so the moon street, the reflection on the water, goes from the moon to the
very
water.
Good, very interesting concept. Yeah, there you go.
But I think we grew as songwriters. We also had more experience recording in the studio. We knew what to expect. Sundrunk Moon was a lot of first times for all of us.
But look, I think that's the same with every band, really, Felipe, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the more you play together, as you said, you're going playing live music together between 2014 and 17. I mean, you're only going to get tighter and get.
And I also understand some people like Sundrunk Moon better than our older work. It's if you get introduced to a band with the first album.
Oh, it's the first album.
It will also always have a special place.
Exactly.
Both for me and as a listener, I have the same with my favorite bands. Even and it doesn't mean you don't appreciate the later albums, I guess. But
and so that'll bring us on
the album that introduces you to a band will also always be special, I guess.
What about 2020's album then? Kingdom of Roots.
Yeah, so Kingdom of Roots.
I have to be honest, I wouldn't have listened to that half as much as I would have to the previous two.
Yeah,
I suppose simply because
it's
they were the first, like, you know.
yeah, it's probably the least post-rocky album of the three. It has much more indie vibe going on.
Yeah,
but it still has a decent amount of post-rock style guitars and but again, yeah, for me it feels like we again took a step songwriting, also not only songwriting but the way we worked together, like the the process of writing Kingdom of Roots was a breeze compared to the previous two. Like we all knew our role or function in the band much better. We were listening to each other's parts, commenting on each other's parts without getting into fights. It was of course we were older, more experienced. But I guess
very professional, Felipe. Very professional, yeah.
More mature in general. I think it sounds more mature, and the way we wrote it was more mature. And again, it has this. It's more of a concept than Sun Moon as well. It's all about like the earth, your place on earth. What are your roots? And what are the things that hold you together as a person, that are important for you as a person? And so the Kingdom of Roots, it's from the roots are taking the water out of the ground. So we're going from water to earth. So that's also why we chose that name. So next album will probably, I don't know yet, but we probably will have to do something with the sky or something.
Well, tell me, you released all these three albums within 3 years of each other. Is that a conscious thing bands do, or is that just how it happens?
That's just how it happens.
There's nothing behind that. You don't think it's right to release one every 3 years? No.
No. I would love to release one next year, but it's probably gonna take more time this time. We are writing, but very slowly. But I guess it's probably not realistic thinking we will release something next year already.
You see, this is it, because I did see on Facebook you got together recently, didn't you?
Yeah. So we got together recently in our rehearsal space to rehearse for the first time in over a year, like the 5 of us. But we have been meeting up, like 2 or 3 of us, just to write, to record some of my basic ideas. So we have I would say probably enough like ideas to make an album, but they are all like just basic concepts.
They're out there somewhere.
They're out there.
They're scattered.
They're not songs yet. They're not finished yet. We have to. It's like I like to compare this as like making a puzzle or a drawing or something. You first have to like find the outside part of the puzzle and then start puzzling it together, or you first have to draw before you start coloring.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're in that first stage.
We're in that phase at the moment. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I do think we have some nice little melodies and stuff like that.
And people, I'm assuming people thought that if anything happens, that the cat was dead, to pardon the pun. Like,
I guess so. Yeah. But we have, like I said, we have been meeting up in the past few years, just not. Just behind the scenes mostly, and then some stuff happened. Like I had a baby. Well, I didn't have a baby. My wife had a baby.
Just to clarify, yes.
Jasper and Bram, so the bass player and the drummer, started another band with some old friends of them that is doing very well. It's called Ronker. It's more of like a noise punk project. And Walter, the other guitarist, is he has to go outside of Belgium a lot for his work. So and then COVID happened, of course, so that was hard as well. And I have to admit that I had to. I had a period of time that I wasn't really motivated either. Especially like the first year of COVID, it was so hard. Like we had all this really cool stuff planned. We were going to China again with If Anything. We had like a couple of shows in Belgium and the Netherlands as well. We were thinking about organizing a EU tour, and none of it happened, which was very frustrating. I had put a lot of work. I had put a lot of work in that, and I don't want to complain because I mean my life was fine, and I guess a lot of people were like I was better off than a lot of other people. But
exactly.
From a musical point of view, or from the point of view of me being motivated to make music, it was hard, and I guess that's also why I started the solo thing.
And just touching on China there, Filipe, like how did you manage it financially, physically? You know, you all worked. You have families, girlfriends, whatever the case may have been back then. Like.
I guess it's the craziest thing that ever happened to us as a band. Like we just got an email. We just got an email saying, "Hello, I'm a booker from China. Do you want to come and play in China?" And we were like, "Yes, of course, but it's probably a scam." and then we started emailing back and forth, and then they had to transfer us some money to buy plane tickets. We looked up the price of planes, and it was like they had to transfer us like 3,000 euros or something.
Right.
And they said okay, and like 2 days after, and we were actually in the studio recording Mangata when I was like just checking my phone and like got this email, "You received money," and I was like, shit, this is real.
This is actually happening.
This is actually happening. Yeah. So
like this guy contacted you out of the blue. Like, I mean, you had no contact before, no
out of the blue,
toing and froing with
out of the
form
blue.
of social media or anything.
So weird. Like
that's strange, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very hard to get a view of our statistics in China. Like I have no idea how much people there listen to us. I have all these statistics of Spotify and Bandcamp and everything, but they all have their own social media kind of stuff, their own equivalent of Spotify and stuff like that. I have no idea. Like I've tried to check it sometime, but it's all in Chinese. It's very hard. I know that Jasmine, the song of Sunrise Moon, is very, very popular there.
Okay.
And so probably that's how the booker found us.
And how many shows did you do there, Filipe?
5. So 5 in 5 days with like 5,000 kilometers between them. We were living like rock stars. Like it was playing a show, drinking beers until 4 a.m, sleeping until 7, and then on a plane to the next show, or on a high speed train to the next show, sitting 7 hours on a train, sound checking, playing, drinking beer again. It was fun though. And so they actually invited us to go back in 2020, but that didn't happen for obvious reasons.
How many people attended these shows, Filipe? I mean, what numbers are you talking? Because I spoke about this only last week.
Yeah, we're talking about maybe there weren't huge shows, but they were decent. Like I guess the best show, like, or the most attended show, was probably in Beijing, and was like 150 people, and the worst show was maybe 100 people. So which is fine, I think. It's not bad at all. Like we've played worse shows in
exactly, but I mean that
20 kilometers from here. But
that promoter who brought you over, like I mean, and paid for your flights and stuff.
Yeah, I can actually show you something.
Yeah,
if my cable allows me to. Just a second.
Okay.
I have. This was the tour poster.
Oh, very good.
I don't know if you can see it, but
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it very clearly.
Super weird. It's a cat cutting up a banana. It's the most random.
It was going to be weird, wasn't it?
It's the most random thing we've ever seen. Like we didn't have anything to say.
Was this created for you?
Yeah. It's some friend of the Chinese booker made this. We actually met her on the last show in Shanghai. She was a very nice girl, but I think it's very random.
Nice thing to have, isn't it?
My 2-year-old daughter loves it. She's always like, "Look, a cat, banana."
But she's more optional, but you love cats, I think, anyway, from your household.
Yeah. True.
So, again, as I said, we'll talk about your solo project after, but if anything happens to the cat as a band, is very much active and alive.
Yeah. We did one online gig in 2021, like a year and 3 months ago or something, in a local bar here. They recorded it at the bar. And I remember Jasper, our bass player, and he's also the one that sings, like, between two songs. He said, like, if anything happens to the cat, still alive, a little bit kicking. And I guess that's how you could describe it. We're still alive. We're still coming together to write music, but it's a very slow process right now. Most of us have a lot of other stuff going on, so we have to.
Well, this is it. I suppose you're at an age where family life.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it takes up a lot of your time. Like, so
for me, a lot changed, of course, having a kid in the house.
Absolutely,
and for the other guys as well. So, but we all have the intention of continuing this band.
That was my next question, actually. Like, the hunger is still there, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is still as enthusiastic about it as they would have been.
Yeah. We had this conversation a few times in the last months, because obviously we were very much inactive, but every time we had a conversation, it was like, we'll definitely continue. It's just right now it's hard. And so we actually had our first rehearsal in a very long time last Monday, and the next one will be this Friday. So
how did it go?
Slowly.
How did that first one go?
Better than expected. We still knew most of the songs, and I was happy that most of the songs were okay-ish. Not perfect yet, but
was there guys arriving bursting with new ideas?
Well,
you had the whole COVID time to think stuff up, like 3 years.
Those ideas are recorded, so we met up to like put together a live set again. So it was all old songs that we were playing, songs from the 3 albums, with the idea of getting back into live performing after the summer. But so we just like made a set list and tried to prepare a little bit. Like, the hardest thing is that these song structures are not very standard, so you have to remember, like, when you have to go into the next part of the song, it's not like a typical pop song where you just like play the verse and the refrain over and over again. So but it went fine. We knew most of it, so
you talk about structures of songs and stuff. I suppose going back to other songs, like what influenced you as if anything happens to the cat now, as opposed to yourself personally? I mean, what were you listening to all the way through from 2010 right through? What influenced you?
I like I said, we all have very different musical backgrounds. We listen to very, very different stuff, but the thing that connects us is like bands like Me Without You is probably like one of all 5 of us love that band. Like it's and we actually got to open for them a few years ago, which was really cool. We met them; they were super nice guys. Their drummer saw our show and he really enjoyed it as well. So that was like a huge compliment for us that one of our influential artists liked it so much. But that's a band we talk a lot about. Other bands that are very influential, I would say, are EF, the Swedish post-rock band.
Fantastic.
Jenny Forever, also an old Swedish indie post-rock band. Very often, me and Wouter, when we are writing guitar lines, we have like a very complementary way of playing often, and the band Jenny Forever had that going on as well, like the 2 guitars.
The dual guitar, like interweaving,
and so we're often looking at each other and saying like, yeah, that sounds like Jenny Forever. It's good. Continue.
Are you recording?
Editors is a very big influence because
From the aspect, yeah, I suppose.
the singing, the voice color of Jasper is very similar to what's his name again?
I don't remember his name, but
Tom something.
yeah.
Jasper will hate me for this that I don't remember the guy's name.
And
Tom Smith. Tom
I
Smith.
say you
I just
Googling
it. Yeah. Tom Smith. His voice is very similar to Jasper's, and Jasper was a huge. He still is, I guess, but he was a huge fan. Like he would drive like 5 hours to see them.
I did see them twice. They're a fantastic band.
Yeah. I saw them a couple of times as well. It's not totally my cup of tea, but I do appreciate what they're doing. And then bands like Mogwai, obviously, who are also like doing the post-rock thing with a lot of outside influences. And then we all have these individual influences that we like bring to the band. Peter is into mad rock and weird music, like Japanese stuff you never heard of before. Jasper is more into this indie rock thing, bands like Editors and stuff like We Were Promised Jetpacks. So the indie vibes are coming from those influences.
Like music has never been so accessible, like, is it? You know, it's so varied and it's so easy to find yourself going down some fucking rabbit hole there once you start listening to something and you're gone for weeks.
But I guess the main thing holding it together is that it's not that it can be anything. Like we can have a more post-metal song going into a very poppy song, and we don't really mind. Like
exactly. I mean, you're not restricting yourselves in any way or form as a band. It's a case of what happens in the recording studio.
Yeah. Basically, yes. We never know where we're going to end up with a song when we start it. We just start recording and then, this sounds good. I have a nice little vocal melody for this. Okay, let's do it. And if it sounds good, it sounds good. It's not really. I think a lot of other bands probably have more of of a concept going on. Like, if you listen to their new release, you know more or less how it's going to sound, which is not a bad thing, of course. But I think that's what we don't want to do. Like we want to surprise. So
the element of surprise is always
the
good,
element of surprise is very important and keeps it interesting for ourselves as well.
So if you were to turn back the clock, we say 5-6 years ago, and you look back at the work you've done as a group, if anything happens to the cat, is there anything you change? Are you happy with what you've put down? Are you comfortable playing everything live? Or do you ever think to yourselves, if only we did this, if only we did that?
We overcomplicated some of the songs, especially on the second album, which makes them very hard to play live. Songs like Raven Steals the Light or Echo Park, we did play them live, but they are the first ones to drop out of set lists right now because they're hard to play and we need backing tracks and so probably I would probably have tried to keep it more simple or on the other hand, I don't really mind. Like if you have 3 albums, you're going to have to make choices anyway, so it's not really a problem.
Our 4 albums, isn't that right? There's one on the way.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a choice of 4.
And I think I would probably also have tried to play even more show. We did play quite often, but in the first few years when we were all still studying and had plenty of time. Now it's much harder to organize stuff.
That's the only slight regret you'd have, so that you didn't play more. So pay more.
I'm happy with the stuff we did, but it's
that's good. That's good. Well,
it could have been even more. Yeah.
It is, and people are looking forward to it. I know I speak to a few. I'm into a lot of the post-rock groups and Facebook groups and pages and Instagram and you name it. And there is I won't even call it a cult following, but there is an underground following for this band. It's been there for a long time.
I'm very happy you used that word. I didn't want to say it myself, but
But
I
there is something about this
I
band that people.
I always say our aim should not be to like become huge or something, because it's probably not going to happen with the kind of music we play. But our aim should be to become like a cult band, like a band that has released tons of stuff and everybody agrees that they always were doing their own thing and it's all good.
And purchasing the albums at extortionate rates, isn't it?
Yeah. There's actually a local band here called The Portables. I really like them. They're super original band, mixing electronics and post rock. And I don't know how many albums they released, but they've been around for 25 years or something. They released 7 or 8 albums. And they're all really good, and they never became like widely known, but everybody that knows them agrees that they're awesome. So
okay, brilliant.
I guess that should be the aim for a band, like if anything happens to the cat.
I think so too, yeah. And so look, I suppose we'll park if anything happens to cat for a while. And I said, I think everybody's going to look forward to hearing new material, whatever shape or form it comes in, Filipe. And I suppose
it will probably take a while, but it will.
You're talking next
eventually.
Year, are you?
I'm talking. We'll see how much time we get to record it.
You're not talking more than next year.
We don't have any concrete plans yet. Like there's no studio time booked or something. We are still in the first phase of like writing, and when songs really start to come into shape, then we'll probably book a studio, and then it will probably be like 6 months from there, and then 6 more months to do the mixing and the mastering and pressing and stuff like that. So it's always it's a very slow. I hate it, but it's a very slow process.
It is a slow process. I know that, but you know when I think when people saw you on that Facebook page last week when you all got together, I think people were getting excited and thought, there's something on the way. But
well,
look,
we'll probably play a few shows again before that. So
great.
I'm hoping to be able to play a few shows in the second half of the year, like after the summer. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most myself at the moment. Like just playing some shows.
Do you miss playing live?
We actually haven't played any shows since Kingdom of Roots was released, except for the online show. Kingdom of Roots was released on the 20th of March of 2020, which is very unfortunate. And we played a few shows before the release, like I think we played maybe 3 or 4 shows in the weeks before the release, and we actually already had the CDs, so we were like secretly selling them at the show, even though it wasn't released yet. And so we were of course playing some of the songs of that album. But apart from those shows, we actually never got to do like a release show or something like that. I don't think we should do a release show like 2 years after the release. That doesn't make sense to me, but it would just be nice to play some shows.
I suppose when you talk about it that way, like I mean, Kingdom of Roots probably didn't get the time that the FaceTime as such. That the other two got. I mean, because I mean, timing's everything.
I guess so. Yeah.
But you just don't see it.
I'm not unhappy with the response it got, seeing the circumstances. But it could have been more.
But having played it live and toured it,
if we could have done everything we had planned, it would definitely be more. But
it's fine. Even more,
I don't want to complain about COVID because it's been the same for everyone. And it's been the same for everyone. Everybody has put their plans on a hold, and so I'm not any different than anybody else.
No, you're definitely not. Not when you have a kid around the house changing your life completely. You're no different from the rest.
She was born before COVID, so that was going on already. Like when we were going to release Kingdom of Roots, but.
Very good. Well, look, Filipe, as I said, we'll park if anything happens to the cat there. And what I want to talk about next is your solar project, which is Gato De Fogo, is my best pronunciation that I can do for now. So look, I'm just going to give everybody a quick listen to some of it. And when they come back, we'll have a chat about that album, the concept, and everything else that's behind it. Okay. There you go, guys. That is Filipe's solo project, which is, as I said before, as I tried to say before, is Gato De Fogo. And that track was called Shills and Shysters, am I right?
Yes, correct.
Which is my favourite track from the album, Filipe. I love spoken passages in rock music and in post-rock music especially. And that one is a beautiful piece. You know, it's just so back in time.
I had a lot of work to get it to a level that was good enough, because it was the sample was super noisy. It's
okay.
It's from an old TV interview.
Well, it must 70s. Be the, I would say the 70s if we're talking TV.
And it's an interview on the street, so there's a lot of cars passing by, and I had to put like 3 or 4 noise suppressors on it, and but it's good enough in the end.
How did you pick that segment? Like, I mean, where did you
you're probably familiar with the Post-Rock Appreciation Society on Facebook.
Yeah.
And actually, there was a guy who posted a video of that interview in there, saying like, "I expect to hear this in the next Godspeed album." And I listened to it, and I was like, "Yes,
I want to." Yeah.
I'm always looking around for stuff like that. I was like, "Yeah, I can definitely do something with this." And actually, I wrote a track like on the sample, like. In most cases, you would like write a track and then find a sample and put it on there. But in this case, I had a sample first, and then I used like the pace of her voice to like decide how fast the song would be, and so it's really in the same pace of how she talks.
Wow! And look, this album, as I said, was April. It was only released last month, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And how has the response been?
Well, not bad actually, like better than I expected, because I haven't barely done any marketing. Like I just posted it online and in some Facebook groups, and that's it. And this album was more of a personal challenge for myself than something that I had to like. I really had no big aim with it or something, but the response has been really nice.
Plan, like there was no master plan for this album.
But the response has been really nice. Also, like a lot of my friends and stuff saying like this, we weren't expecting this. It's refreshing. We were expecting that you would like just, I don't know, make some more If Anything Happens to the Cat songs without the rest of the band or something.
It's always a fear, Filipe, isn't it?
Yeah.
And especially the fact that people could sort of say, as you said, we expected you to do this.
And actually, nobody knew I was recording it except some close friends. But I didn't make any social media pages before it was finished. I was just like sitting here on this chair in my little music corner here and recording it, and like it was finished when it was finished. Then I released it on the 24th of May, which was not a coincidence. Well, it was a coincidence that I like finished the recording process like in the end of April, and then you need a few weeks to get it online. I chose the 24th of May because it's exactly 10 years after the first If Anything Happens to the Cats demo EP, which was released on the 24th of May of 2012. So I thought that was very symbolic, like releasing the first solo thing exactly 10 years
but how many people know this? Like, I mean, well, hopefully a lot more people.
Yeah, well,
a few listeners there, like.
So it was premiered on the Where Post Rock Dwell's YouTube channel, and it has like 4,000 streams on there or something. So that's nice. Which I'm very thankful for, because I wouldn't have had any listeners without Where Post Rock Dwells, I guess.
Ronnie does so much for people in this genre. Like
and I got a lot of nice comments on YouTube as well, and like some people sending me private messages saying they loved it, and
that's great.
Some people paying for it on Bandcamp, while you can download it for free if you want to. So. Which is a sign of appreciation, I guess. So
it is, and again, it's a big thing, isn't it? In this sort of network here, like that we have this music scene like that. people do make the effort to go to band
Yeah,
camp, people do appreciate
exactly.
the work that goes into music, like
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, I think this album, like I was saying earlier, in the first year of COVID, I like lost the ambition of making music a bit. Like I couldn't get myself to play guitar. I just didn't care. Like at one point, I just didn't care about it. Like the guitars are standing here next to me, and I would just like stare at them and say like, "No, I'll watch a movie." um, but then after a while, like I realized I had to get back into it, and actually, my boss at work asked me if I could provide some music for our phone line, like the waiting song.
Go away.
Like, and it has been Jasmine of If Anything Happens to the Cat for years.
Yeah.
And we got a new phone system. Whatever, we needed a new file.
Okay.
And he was like, "Can you resend the file because I don't have it anymore, or do you want to do something else?" And I told him like, "Give me a few weeks, I'll make something." And the first song. So I work as a I studied law, and I'm specialized in migration.
Okay.
So we give advice about migration to everyone that needs it.
Yeah.
And so I called the first song on the album "Waiting for Justice," because that's the waiting song. The waiting song that is used right now at work. So
everything's connected with you, Felipe.
Yeah. That's how it started. Like I wrote this song "Waiting for Justice," and I was like, this doesn't sound half bad. I had never like recorded anything decent at home except for like some like guitar melodies to send to the other guys of If Anything. But then I started puzzling together that song, and I was like, wow, I made a song from scratch. That's the first time in 10 years that I do that. And so I really got the hang of it, and then just didn't stop recording until I had like 10 songs finished.
Really? So that like there was no experience in this field as such?
No, yeah,
that's some going, Felipe. That's incredible stuff.
I learned by doing. I watched a ton of YouTube videos on how to mix your own songs, how to master your own songs. And this is the result.
Like it is a beautiful album. Like it really is. It doesn't sound like a first attempt, that's for sure.
I've of course seen other people do it a few times, so I had a general idea of how to do it. But yeah, I didn't really have any experience with mixing or mastering. And it's something that I've wanted to
dabble with and try out.
Yeah, wanted to get a grip on since I've started, and I just never had the time or ambition for it. And then now, just like because it was going well, like I was, this song is okay. Yeah, I can probably do something with this. And then I just
was it sort of like a eureka moment, Felipe? When you finally realized, fuck it, I wrote a song.
It was a eureka moment, and also. Like I knew I needed some kind of goal to get back into playing and to find the motivation for making music again, and this was like a goal. I've been thinking about doing this for so long, and now like I have time.
No excuses. Yeah,
I have time for it. I recorded most of it in the evening when the kid was in bed, and I had time for it. I have a goal now, and so let's just do this until it's finished. And I spent many evenings on this chair recording it, and then.
But you enjoyed the process.
Yeah. Much more than I thought, actually. Yeah.
Now, personally,
it feels very, very fulfilling to have managed to get this out there, even though I don't have any real expectations. Like. I just put it online and hope for the best.
It was more of a personal thing for you, so it's not for.
But it feels very rewarding. The fact that it's out there feels like I've won something.
You've achieved something.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. There is moments in it, I suppose it can't be helped, and you can't help comparing a little bit. There's little nuances, little melodies,
yeah. Of course,
guitar tones that would bring, if anything happens to the cat,
of course, it's
straight away into your head, and which creates the idea, geez, are they ever getting back together? That was my feeling when I first heard it,
I guess what you can really hear is the influence that I personally bring to If Anything Happens to the Cat. Like there's arpeggiated melodies, stuff like that, which of course you will find in both, because that's what I like to do.
That's your thing.
So yeah, there's definitely some If Anything Happens to the Cat moments. I might also like repurpose some of the melodies for If Anything Happens to the Cat. Like, why not? It will sound totally different in the end, so whatever.
Yeah.
We've actually done that in the past as well, like with some of the other guys' solo projects or recordings they had from past stuff. So yeah, of course you're going to hear similarities, I guess, but I do feel that the end result is different. It has more of a lo-fi.
It has like it is
relaxed
different
vibe going on, especially in the beats, which are recorded with this. I don't know if you can see it up there. The little black box up there. It's like this big, and it's like a drum computer. So I was like drumming on it, and
that's fantastic. Yeah.
It's very lo-fi, but it sounds cool, and I put it through my pedal board, put some like crazy gated reverb and delays on it and stuff like that to make it sound interesting.
It must be great if you just toy with everything. There's no restrictions. Like, it's a case of if it sounds good, that's it.
I also used a lot of this thing. I'll try to show you. It's like an 80s
I was just saying that's a throwback
keyboard. It's
Christmas
a toy,
morning. Christmas morning for me, 1985. I think
exactly. It's a toy. It's made from plastic. It sounds like shit if you listen to it through the little built-in speaker. But it does have a headphone output, and I put it through some pedals, mixed it a bit, and like the trumpet sounds you hear and some of the synth sounds all come outside from this little toy box. Yeah,
that's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're giving away all your secrets here now, Felipe.
It's fine.
Everybody's going to be plugging in their own stuff
talking about that. Not all of them.
It's great to see where it came from. It just goes to show you what you can do and what you can achieve in music.
You
don't need to have this big grand fucking
exactly. I was looking around and thinking like, I have plenty of stuff that makes sounds.
Exactly.
Any sound can work if you like find the right place for it. Yeah.
And tell me, the tracks that you put onto this album, is that everything you've written, or have you more?
No, that's everything I've written up until now. I'm already thinking of writing more, and have a couple of ideas, but I just worked like song per song. So I feel like I would record one, and when it was finished, start the next one, and then I ended up with 10 and 38 minutes, and I thought like, okay, this is an album now. And
where did the album title come from, actually, Philip?
So the idea of Always April is that, I don't know how it's in Ireland, but in Belgium, April is a very the weather changes all the time. Like, it can be like super sunny and hot, and like half an hour later it's raining cats and dogs. And my idea was that like during the COVID period, I had like the same feeling. Like, I was super happy. I had a lot of time to spend with my daughter. My life wasn't that bad, all in all. I could work from home. I had so much time. And on the other hand, I felt so unmotivated to make music. So it was like that contradictory feeling that you have in the month of April in the weather. And then I started thinking about it, and also it's like just a general thing in life and society, I guess. There's ups and there's downs. There's a lot of good stuff happening and a lot of bad stuff happening. And so the idea was that life is like
always changing.
So it's always like April. So yeah, that was the idea behind it, and I guess it's it's probably the most personal thing I've ever released, because like
Mhm.
I've put a lot of everything I like
That was
myself in it.
exactly.
I didn't have to make any compromises like you have to do if you're working together with other people. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I really wanted to do everything myself. Like I knew that from the beginning. Like I'm not going to send this out to somebody else to mix it or anything, even though it would probably
Okay.
have been a good idea from a technical point of view. But I was like, no, this is going to be just me
Yeah.
doing
This
and
is a home. This is a
trying
homemade project
stuff.
as far as it's
Yes,
going. Yeah.
yes. And I even did the artwork myself, based on a picture that one of my best friends took. But I did the Photoshop editing
Hmm.
of that picture, which was a first as well. I had never
Okay.
actually dabbled in Photoshop, so I had to watch some YouTube videos for that as well.
That
Yeah.
child, that poor child of yours, never saw you. You even on YouTube checking everything else
Nah, I did most of it like between
in the
8
evening
p.m.
time. Yeah.
8 p.m.
Exactly.
and 1 a.m. in the evening.
Is there ever a thought of making a hard copy of it? No, the album, Always April, maybe a CD or even a cassette, which seems to be making a comeback. And
Yeah,
you are showing off 80s stuff there, like, so we might as well talk cassettes.
I'm not opposed to it, but I don't want to pay for it.
Okay, all right.
So
If
yeah,
anyone's
if
out
anyone
there,
wants to release it,
yeah,
contact me. We'll talk.
we'll put it at the end of the show. Don't
But
you worry.
it was at the moment I'm just thinking it's more of like a recording and throwing it online project, and we'll
Mhm.
see. People seem to enjoy it so far, so that's
And
nice.
yeah, and
So
I personally enjoy the chat.
it gives me motivating to continue it
But
next to, if anything. Yeah,
it must be refreshing to hear people tell you that
yeah.
they love it, or they thoroughly
It
enjoy it, or they
felt
find it relaxing, or they find it
it felt
as a
like I
getaway
was
from life.
starting over again. It
Mm,
felt like it was the first thing I ever recorded.
yeah,
Like I was happy as a child when I got the first message says somebody saying like, "Hey, I just found your album on YouTube and just want to say I'm really enjoying it."
yeah, it's
I was
great.
like, "What? What?"
I've made it.
Yeah. Um,
Can I ask you, have you a favorite track on the album?
it changes all the time,
Was it?
but I think. Let me look at the track list again. I think I really like She Swallows Stones, the
Okay.
third one, because it has this more electronic thing going on.
Hmm.
I would say it has like this bonobo vibe or something.
Okay.
Arms and Sleepers
Yeah,
vibe,
yeah, yeah.
which I really like and was something new for me as well. So I really like the beat in that one.
Uh-huh.
I'm very proud of that beat. It's like a banger, But then you make an ambient song out of it, but the beat on itself is a banger. Um, I also really like "Will Soldier On,"
Okay.
the second to last song, because I think it has a very catchy little guitar melody in it, and it
Hmm.
sticks in your head all day, which I also always love in music.
And you see, there's all these little things, you pick them up, don't you? Every time you come back to an album,
Yeah.
and there's always something else will catch your attention and
Yeah.
sort of slip into your mindset, like.
And then maybe also the last song, which is called Always April, which is a very atypical song. It's just an
Mhm.
acoustic guitar and me singing, which was also weird to do. But that song, like I wrote that song in like 10 minutes and recorded it the same evening, and it was done. Like the story behind it is quite sad, but I don't know if you remember. A little Syrian boy who drowned in the
Oh
Turkish
Jesus,
Sea
yeah,
a few
yeah,
years
yeah. I
ago.
remember that
And
picture
there
will
was
be in everyone's memory.
the
Yeah,
horrible picture of the little boy
that's
lying
right.
on the beach. And actually, that picture popped up on my Facebook feed or something.
Hmm.
And I saw it, and I was sitting in my couch with a guitar in my hands when I saw it, and I just wrote that song. It's about that
Wow.
picture, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's and of course it's also related to the field I work in professionally. So so yeah, that song,
it's got a lot of meaning to you, for you.
Yeah,
So
it's got a lot of meaning. I was very doubtful if I should release it.
Why?
But
Because it felt so personal.
yeah, and actually I've been saying for 10 years that I never want to make music that is about politics.
Okay.
But then I decided, in the end, I decided this is not about politics. It's about like human rights, which shouldn't be politically colored. So that's why I decided to go for it. I'm pretty sure like if we would have teams like that, and if anything, I would have probably vetoed it. But yeah. Because I like music to be relaxing and like making you forget stuff like that instead of.
And that's exactly what this album does feel like. I mean, and you know, it actually reminded me of a bit, especially that track, as you said, Always April, like, because Yindi Halda's Under Summer album.
Yeah.
It's got that
really,
vibe, that
really nice album.
And I thought the vocals were great.
That's a band I should have probably mentioned earlier when we were talking about influences for If Anything.
I did hear it through this record, alright, which is a good thing, which is a great thing.
I really love both their albums. So.
Very different albums, but
both very good. Yeah. People
have you seen them
I think people underappreciate Under Summer sometimes because obviously the Enjoy Eternal Bliss album is
it's a classic,
but it's really good.
But I saw them play Under Summer. Yeah, they played it in full over in London a few years back.
Okay.
I actually went to see My Dying Bride. I brought my wife to see My Dying Bride on the Friday night, and then we went to see Indie Halda on the Saturday night.
Nice. That's good.
They played Under Summer, two extremes actually, two very major extremes.
If she doesn't want to come next time, you can bring me. I'll join.
There you go. Anybody else will, because that was the last trip she took.
Yeah, I would like to see them again. I think their music is very creative.
It is, and they don't release too often, do they? They take their time.
Yeah, true.
like yourselves.
Yeah. I guess they probably also have a lot of going on next to music. So,
exactly. So, like, Filipe, I suppose we'll wrap up this album as well. Like, I wish you well with Always April. Like I said, anyone who likes post rock, anyone who likes ambient music, but as you said, this lo-fi vibe through it, I can't recommend it enough. And again, anyone who follows If Anything Happens to the Cat, I think will automatically fall in love with this, because, as I said, there is these little melodies, these little hooks and nuances that you find.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is a good thing.
I think so. Yeah. If you like If Anything Happens to the Cat, you'll probably like it as well.
Exactly. Now, obviously, before you go, I want to ask you my 3 session questions that I've asked everybody who comes on the show.
I thought really hard about them.
That's what I love to hear. I hate the fellas say, "Oh, I forgot about it," but no, you didn't. Right. The first one: if you could walk into a recording studio and do a cover version of any song from any time, what would it be?
Yeah. So actually, on the Always April album, there is a cover. The 4 a.m. song is a cover of a Swedish indie rock band called the Gentle Act Incident.
Okay.
And one of the members of the Gentle Act Incident is also one of the members of EF, the Swedish post-rock bands. Yeah. They only existed for a couple of years, and they put out like one little EP and one album. Okay. And I especially love the EP. It has 5 songs on it. It's only like, guess 18 minutes or something, it's so good. It's like I always listen. I used to listen when I had a car that still had a CD player. I have the CD, and I used to like listen to it on repeat every time I was doing like a long drive. They're very, very catchy songs, and I recorded the cover of one of those songs. I got permission from them to do so, which was nice. And I slowed it down and made it more ambient. It's not really a cover, like it's not the same song, but it's based on it. So I would recommend. I would ask you to check out the original as well.
I will check out the original.
It's very hard to find, but it's on YouTube if you Google it.
Is that your final answer on this one? So you've already done it.
I also wanted to mention, because you're from Ireland, that we once made a cover with If Anything Happens to the Cat. We only played it live like 2 or 3 times, but it was actually a cover of U2. The
Which
song,
track?
the song "Love Is Blindness," which
Okay.
is I think
From
it's
which
it's
album would
the
that
I
be?
think what's the name again? It's the last song of their first album, I think, and it has this really cool like finger picked arpeggio
Okay.
guitar, and then it builds up like a lot of
Nice.
post rock would do, and so we took that idea, like we didn't play a straight up cover either, but we
Yeah,
adapted
yeah,
it.
you
But
made it your own again. Yeah.
and like we used, like we started very slowly and like with a huge climax in the end, like
Oh, nice.
typical post rock version of
I'm actually going to look forward to listening to that now
yeah.
as well. Yeah, that should be
But we don't
interesting.
have it recorded. We just
Oh,
played
you
it.
don't? Oh,
I think we played it 2 or 3 times live, and then decided like, okay, let's play our own songs instead of U2's. But because I think none of us is really into U2 actually, but we just thought it was a very good song
well,
to
as I
cover.
mentioned before to somebody else again, like that was in the good days when you two
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
had
sure,
some
sure.
street cred. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
That's long gone.
But and in general, I actually think that those are the best songs to cover. Is songs that are like, for me, it wouldn't make sense to cover, for example, an Explosion in the Sky song or something, because what are you going to do with it? You're just
Yeah.
going to play it as it was recorded. So what's the added value?
I think it's
There
great
is
to hear a
none.
band
Yeah,
totally step out of their comfort zone
yeah.
and do
So
something completely unique. Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing is to take a song from that is totally different and to make your own version of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So if I had to record, like if I could record any songs
Mhm.
without having problem with credits and stuff like that, I would probably cover Iris of the Goo Goo Dolls or something,
Okay.
something like that. Like this very, I love that
It's a
song.
big
And
number. Like it's a big track.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
huge hit, and
It's
then
huge. Yeah.
make your own thing out of it. We were talking about Cold Bones earlier. They did
They did Kate Bush's running
Kate
up that
Bush's
hill. Yeah.
before the
Before it
new
got
hype. Yeah.
exactly
and
before
and
the
I
hype.
think they did it very well. They put their own sounds
It's
in that
total Cold
song.
Bones
Yeah,
sound.
yeah,
It is their own
exactly.
sound. It's brilliant. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's I think that's the most interesting thing to do. So I would probably take some
Great.
big
I got three
hits
or
or
four answers off you
something.
there, which is great.
Yeah, yeah,
Tell me, so if you could experience playing live on stage with any band from the past or present,
yeah,
walk onto that stage with someone else and play your favorite track, what would it be?
yeah. Well,
Or who would they be? Sorry.
I found that question really hard because I don't really have like one idol or something.
Okay.
There's a lot of people whose work I really appreciate, but um, there's not like one name that popped out for me that, oh yeah, that's my hero or something.
Mhm.
But I would say like my favorite band is, I've mentioned them a few times already, but is EF, the
Mhm.
Swedish poster band. I think their 4 albums are all brilliant. So
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
and are a huge influence for me personally. So I would like to like maybe not play with them, but open for them or something.
Okay.
And if I had to choose like one player to play with, I would probably say Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth, just because
Okay.
he's just he's so creative with
Uh-huh.
guitar sounds. I would like just like to see how he
That's
does it,
interesting. Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
steal all these ideas from him. Yeah, I think he's probably not the best guitar player ever, but he's a hugely creative
Yeah.
guitar player that changed sound, and
That's right. It
yeah,
did change the
he
sound of things. Yeah.
he changed how people experience sound, I guess. So
Mm.
um,
Very
he,
interesting answers there, Felipe. I
yeah,
like it.
he's been very important for me as well, like
Yeah.
like how you can like manipulate sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the last question I ask would be, give me a name of a band or an album to look out for in 2022. Something that
Yeah.
you're looking.
So
I know EF actually are releasing
yes,
something.
so
Yeah,
EF are
yeah,
releasing a new album in November.
yeah. Which should be something special. Yeah,
Me and a friend are actually making plans to go see a couple of their shows because
nice.
they're playing one in Belgium, but it's like 250 kilometers from here. So we'll probably do 2 shows if we have
Okay.
to do the drive anyway. So yeah, that album will probably like, I'm pretty sure that will be my album of the year. It has
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Like, I have huge expectations of it, and I'm with a lot of other bands I
No
would be
pressure on them. Like, yeah.
no, but with a lot of other bands I would be afraid of being disappointed, but I'm not with them. Like
No, no.
I,
There's
I,
something
I
unique about them. All right. Yeah, they
yeah,
have something. They have a gift.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
got to know them a little bit in the past few, like before COVID. I met them a few times, and and I think they're hugely creative people, and they've been inactive for a long time, so I guess they will have a lot of fresh ideas as well.
You're really building them up. So this doesn't let us down.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it won't. And I also wanted to mention, my bandmates Bram and Jasper will release an EP with the band called Ronker, which I've heard it already. Most of it's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
I actually don't know when they are going to release it exactly. I'm not sure if they know it as well.
And how would you describe their sound?
It's noise punk. It's like the Misfits meet Sonic Youth or something like that. And I also wanted to mention an album that actually already is released a few months ago, but that I think everybody that likes this kind of music should hear. And you wrote an excellent review of it, which is Odin's Allergy.
Oh man, yeah.
So it's not really an album; it's a whole concept, right?
It's 55 minutes.
It's one song that is called Odin Allergy, and
yeah.
But I've knew them since the Pax Cecilia days. I actually got their CD for free in the mail 15 years ago, and I was like, I just found it online, and they said if you send us an email, we'll send you a free CD, and
that's what they're still doing that. This old Allergy album. That's what they're doing.
You had to pay for the shipping now.
For shipping,
which you didn't have to do 15 years ago, which was even more crazy.
They're taking the piss out of us.
I actually sent them a copy of Sun-Drunk Moon when it came out. Just
nice. Did you get the CD actually of Odin Allergy?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
It's a beautiful CD, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing, and the whole concept, the sound of it, it's so crazy. You go from a choir singing in a church to the hardest metal you've ever heard, and back. It's not even weird. It fits so nicely
it
together.
Works. This is it. You try and tell people. You try and explain what it sounds like, and you just do what you did.
I can't remember his name right now, but the guy behind it, he's a genius. He's a musical genius, obviously.
I'm glad you mentioned him, because that album deserves a mention without a doubt. Absolutely.
And I really liked your review. I agree with everything you said. So
thank you. Thanks for saying that.
So read Pat's review.
And they did too. Actually, they were very complimentary. They're really nice guys. They were very complimentary, and they actually sent me on the CD as well, which was very nice. Nice. So, Felipe, I think that wraps us up.
Thank you so much. It was a very nice talk.
It was an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I think we covered a good bit of ground there. We covered a lot.
Next time I'll see you, I'll pay you a beer.
There's definitely beers next time we meet. All right, that's for sure. I just wish you all the success with your own solar project, obviously.
Thank you.
Gato De Fogo is the best I can do.
Gato De Fogo.
Gato De Fogo. And also, I suppose, let's hope that if anything happens to the cat, comes back to us sooner rather than later.
We will. Sooner
it will happen. It's just a matter of
it will happen. Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Philippe, thanks a million for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Catch you down the road at some stage.
Have a nice evening.
Concert.
Bye.
You too. Take care. Thank you, everybody, for listening in again this evening. Thanks to Richie, who, as always, edits and produces the show. And I will catch up to you again in a couple of weeks' time. Take care.